Hey legends, welcome back to the Sim Racing channel where we appear to be releasing one new video each day. It's an awesome day today. AMS2 has come out with its brand new update, version 0.8.4. Now, I know you guys want to get straight to the good stuff, so I'll cut to it. The two main improvements in this version are to the force feedback and to the brakes. The brakes have been revised for all cars. They include more optimum temperature ranges, wear, fade, and failure properties. They've all been revised to the more accurate brake materials and specs of each car. These should address the brake failure issues from the last version and should hopefully provide more realistic wear and feel on some of the cars. Now, the other big update is to the force feedback. The change is deceptively simple. We'll run through the options here. Go to controls and force feedback. You'll notice there's a new type called new default. What this essentially does, basically put, is put the low force boost before the gain as far as the actual code is concerned. Now, this might seem like a minor adjustment, but we're going to get into the game and see what this actually means in practice. So without further ado, make sure to smash subscribe to stay up to date with all future AMS2 content, because we're going to keep right on top of this, and let's get stuck right into it. Okay, so here we are in the Rocco 001 at Brands Hatch. There's a very good reason I picked both this track and car combination. One, the car is one I'm very familiar with in AMS2, and it's one I know has a very good force feedback feeling overall. It's very nice and balanced, and it's a very pivoty, nice balanced car to actually drive and test the track with. Now, the reason I picked Brands Hatch is it appears to be one of the few tracks in the game which is legitimately laser scanned. That is, the surface has a bunch of micro bump detail in it, which makes it a perfect test bed to test out force feedback. This is something I haven't gone over yet. I might go over it in a future video if you guys are interested, but it does appear that some of the track content in this game seems to have taken the laser scan meshes from Project Cars 2, because Brands Hatch in this game and Alton Park in this game are extremely similar to those in Project Cars 2. This is all on the down low. I haven't heard the developers say anything about it, but you know, it's what it feels like to me. Anyway, first impression I get, I'm getting a really nice rumbling through the steering wheel here just at idle the moment the engine turned on. So I'm very curious about what this is going to mean as I get started. So let's go down pit lane here. Okay. This is promising so far. I've got to say the force feedback is getting ever so closer to the rFactor 2 force feedback I so love. Alright, let's see how we go. Remember, this game has a very finicky tyre model, and you've got to warm up your tyres before you try and do anything crazy. Whoa, okay, warm up the brakes too. I like it, I like it. When a game is unforgiving like this out of the pits, you know they're serious. Still a bit understeery and weird. Alright guys, so one of the first things I'm feeling straight out of the gate, oh my god, okay, there's a lot to talk about here. So if you guys remember from the Automobilista 2 review that I did, one of the main criticisms I levied against this game was that rFactor 2 rendered micro and macro details in the force feedback, whereas AMS2 seemed to focus on only the macro details. Well, by the Lord, I've got to say that I have to eat my hat on that one, because what I'm feeling going down these straights is just unreal. This is next level force feedback. I mean, this is at least, oh my god, that was unbelievable. I will talk about this in detail, so don't worry, once I stop having a prolonged orgasm here. So what we feel going down the straights is all the micro details. I'm feeling the engine vibration first of all, which I absolutely love. That's something I love about BeamNG as well. Engine vibration, I'm getting all the micro bump detail going down the straight, because this does appear to be a laser scan track. And further from that, my god, the compressions, the things that I'm feeling as the car is skipping along the track, oh my god, that is unbelievable. So every time you see the car undulate like that, every time you see it hit some kind of a micro compression, I can feel everything through this wheel, absolutely everything. And just so you guys know what I'm using, It's a Fanatic DD1 using the developer's recommended settings, except with the damper jacked up to 50 because I am a large man and I like the wheel to feel girthy. The in-game settings are gain at 50, which is what they recommend, low force boost at 15%, which is in the between what they recommend for direct drive wheels to boost some of the lower forces when when the wheels are unloaded and the car is kind of traveling along on straights. Now what that appears to have done is just boosted some of those microscopic details to a level where I can really tell everything that's happening underneath the car, and it's so hard to describe in words the sensation when the car is loaded in a corner like that. Oh my god, every single undulation you saw there I could feel in perfect detail through the steering wheel. It's unbelievable. This force feedback is, I mean, this is industry leading stuff already. And developers have more changes planned for it. They're planning to write some kind of new tire scrub algorithm, or rewrite the code to deal with tire scrubbing. But what we have already is so amazing. It's, you know, when we talk about games like ACC and I levy all this criticism against its force feedback being uninformative, AMS2 is basically the diametric opposite. It is everything I wish that ACC's force feedback could be. It is communicating every aspect of this car's motion to me. I can feel every elevation change, I can feel every undulation and compression, every tire deformation that's happening underneath the car, and that's giving me so much to work with as a driver. It feels alive, and it just feels absolutely amazing. I'm loving this right now. I've got to say, it does combine with the damper update we had a few weeks back, where the cars are much stiffer, and you can feel that in the Rocco now. It's way less kind of floaty, a lot more direct. In some ways a little more erratic, almost difficult to drive, but in a really exciting way. I've got to say, one thing that Reza seems to nail is just the fun and the joy of driving, in the same way that BeamNG and rFactor does. Currently this game is still not quite 100% in simulator land, but oh, by the Lord, it's close. And honestly, if you have not felt force feedback like this, the game is worth the price of admission for that alone. It's un-freaking believable. Alright, so talking about the other big change, which is the brake feel. I've got to say that I am blocking the brake very easily on this car without applying very much pressure. Now I will say that I'm still using, unfortunately, my old Poxy T3PA pedals with the conical brake mod and the upgraded spring. Not phenomenal. Passable, but certainly not phenomenal. I've got the Husingfeld still ready to go the moment I get the new cockpit. But when it comes to these kind of, whatever you want to call them, entry-level, mid-level pedals, I find myself locking... Yeah, I don't know. I can't really dig in. It seems to really kind of get aggressive very quickly. Now, I'm not sure how much of that is specific to... Oh, that is... Guys, you have got to experience this for yourself, seriously. When you see the car do things like that, I can feel every sensation there. I can't even imagine what this would be like for someone with a motion rig. This is unbelievable. This is next level, like, physics dynamism. This is the kind of stuff that... Again, when I talk about Assetto Corsa and how it feels unengaging for me to drive, if you play this game and then play AC or ACC, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Ah, oh, that's fantastic. Alright, I'm going to have to call it here, and I'm going to have to move on to another track and car combo for us to get a better feel of a more, a diverse range of content and how it's affected this. Certainly, because I'm just going to be here all night lapping this on and on and on. So here we are in another one of my favourite track and car combos, namely the Formula V12 down here in Adelaide, historic. Everything's nice and blue. I don't know what it was about the 80s and blue, but the curbs are blue and white, our car's nice and blue. I mean, why not? Get into the spirit, right? Alright, so I'm already feeling those vibrations I was in the Rocco going down the pit lane. Feels fantastic so far. I've jacked up the force feedback to really feel it in this car. All right, let's see where we go. Bearing in mind this game is very, very sensitive to tire and brake temps, so we're gonna have to take it a little bit easier down the first lap and just warm ourselves up. Adelaide I chose because it's another track that feels like it's actually laser scanned. I mean, the amount of bumps on the track surface are unreal. So I'm not sure if somehow they got the city of Adelaide's, you know, laser scans and worked them into their game model, but this mesh feels a lot more detailed than most of the tracks in the game. This combination is absolutely unreal because this car is constantly trying to murder you. It is constantly trying to kill you whenever you're on the throttle. The aero balance is wonky. It's just, I mean, listen to it. It sounds like a billion angry mosquitoes just wanting to eat the track alive. Alright, so talk about the update. I can get carried away playing this game. It's so hard to describe, but I mean, this is what force feedback should feel like. If you guys are ever watching any of my videos where I'm criticizing force feedback feel in a game, just play this. Play this right here, and you'll know exactly what the reference point is that I'm coming from. I mean, this is next level. I've jacked it up. My arms hurt when we turn the wheel at speed. It's just, oh, that damping, beautiful. Wow, the brakes are a lot better than I realized. All right. there's that Formula V12 handling character I so love. Ugh. I don't think we're 100% warm yet, guys. One thing I have to say I do enjoy is attempting to actually speak while wrangling something this homicidal down a track. I mean, just look at this thing. It's basically a street circuit. Like, can somebody tell me why they moved the Grand Prix here to Melbourne? I mean, the Adelaide track is amazing. Look at this thing. The road sucks. It's perfect. I mean, could you imagine the amount of deaths and crashes we'd get in modern Formula 1 if we held it here? It'd be so good. Could make Formula 1 a man's sport again. V12s, wonky aero balance. I mean, what else do you want? Just need a cigar to smoke while you're driving down. Alright, so let's get a little bit more detailed about what I'm experiencing here. So, the brake feel in this car is markedly different to the Rocco. I've got to say it's still probably more sensitive than I'm used to. Certainly more sensitive than any of the other games I have installed right now, including rFactor and ACC. I'm finding it kind of hard to get the limit without locking the brake and scrubbing up the tires. Luckily, flat spots don't seem to be modeled yet. But in terms of the force feedback, my god, I mean, just playing this right now, I can tell you that AMS2 is very likely going to become the sim to beat over the coming year. If Reza keep it up, I mean, seriously, if any of you guys are watching right now, congratulations, my hat goes off to you. I mean, there are very few sims in existence that have given me this much driving connection and joy. It's just, god, the feeling of the downforce, the undulations, the bumps, the compressions, you get it all through the steering column. It's unbelievable. Alright, one last lap. Let's see what we can do. I feel so much more connected to this car ever since the last couple of updates. Oh, so many dangerous bumps right there. You go. Here it is. There's that dangerous bump. Come on, come on. First gear is manic in this car. It is homicidal. Gotta stay away at all costs. I will say I am more familiar with the modern layout of this track than the historic one, but the historic one is probably superior. I mean, look at this. Look at this psychotic excuse for a racetrack. I wonder how many people died in those grandstands over the years. Wow, the brakes are better than I think. You can brake at the 100-meter board there. Oh, don't overshoot. Conditionally better. Not better when you need them to be. Jeez, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm having too much fun. Seriously, I'm getting lost in just the driving experience itself. This is just unreal. It's just seriously fantastic. Loving every aspect of this. So, before I get too carried away and bore you guys to death, I've got to say, Reza, my hat goes off to you guys. You've created something special. With each new update, this becomes closer and closer to my favorite sim. I mean, it's already in my top 3 with BeamNG and rFactor 2. It's the only game that feels as good as those two do through the virtual steering column. And with every new update that you do, the cars themselves feel that little bit extra convincing. Seriously, the only thing you need to do is include more laser scan tracks so we can feel all these amazing bumps through this amazing force feedback model that you have. Just include as many as you can. I know it's costly, but I can't imagine it wouldn't pay for itself in the end, because people like me will rep this to the ends of the earth. If you're ever wondering what I'm talking about when I say amazing, informative, detailed force feedback connection to the car, just grab a copy of AMS2 while it's early access, guys. It's a complete no-brainer. This update is a complete winner. I cannot wait for the next one. Reza, hats off again. Until next time, guys, take it easy. Make sure to smash subscribe to stay up to date with all the future AMS content, because I'm in love with this game. And if you didn't like it, well, too bad. Smash the dislike twice, and I'll see you guys next time.